Present, hold!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home above red?
Thank you, Officer. This is standing for invocation by Police Department Chaplain Imam Khalid Latif.
Parade, rep.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, all praises to God, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. You alone do we worship, in your help alone do we seek. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your grace, and not those whose portion is wrath or anger, or those who have gone astray. Amen.
Amen. And turn. Top right at the point. Home.
Thank you, Imam.
Look on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please welcome the President of the Muslim Officers Society, Lieutenant Adil Rana. Assalamu alaikum. Everyone paying attention? Yeah. Can you do it one more time? Assalamu alaikum. Now we know we have a crowd here, right? I just want to say thank you, first of all, to everyone that, especially in this heavy rain, came out and so, you know, to break bread with us and support us and be here as a family. Also, I want to say, before anything further, I want to say thank you to the 114th Precinct who, you know, helped us out and provided such a good coverage for us. Thank you, Inspector, from 114th Precinct. I appreciate your support. especially our newly assigned detective, Shriki, a great individual. Why don't you stand up and let people know. I just promoted him, right? He's a good guy, but welcome, and I know you'll do good in this position. Again, thank you again for coming here. Every year we host Iftar program, and every year I think it gets bigger and bigger. I want to say thank you because all of your support, our members, our community partners, our NYPD officials. This continues to become a big event. Unfortunately, due to some timing issues, we had to cut back on, our event a little bit. But I think that we still have a great audience, a great turnout, and again, I appreciate your support. Obviously, you hear a lot of incidents that have taken place throughout the country, throughout the world, against Islam and Islamophobia issues. This is a very important platform that we have as Muslim officers within the NYPD, the largest police force, police department not only in the country, probably in the world, that such a diversity is welcome, such a diversity is represented, and it's representing the community that the NYPD serves. So I think it's a great venue, a great way to combat these type of Islamophobia issues, to show the world that Muslims are just like any other American, Muslims are just like any other individual. We're here to protect, we're here to serve, no matter what you believe in, no matter where you come from. We took an oath and we are here serving. We have a lot of heroic individuals in this room. I don't want to keep on, just point single person to them out, but every day they go out, they sign in, and they go out and protect individuals. We're talking about from school safety agents, crossing guards, even traffic agents. Incident recently with Times Square where the vehicle struck individuals on the sidewalk. Who was the first person that tried to stop that individual? It was a traffic agent who was also a Muslim traffic agent. That proves over and over how much we dedicate our life and our belief in protecting every single person. So this, I can go on with the examples of such a great work, but this was the recent, that's why I wanted to mention it. Obviously also you heard about the incident yesterday in London, where people were mowed down and while they're coming out of prayer. I'll speak a little bit about from the NYPD that, I think we do a great job protecting our mosques, protecting our synagogues, our churches, that we as New Yorkers should not be worried about something that happened, in London or in such a scale, because we are very well protected, and I think our, commanding officers from every command takes, extra care about every house of worship, no matter where, what your religion is. So I just want to bring that to attention because a lot of people are concerned, a lot of people have reached out about that incident. So please feel free to go out to the mosque, go out to your services without any issues, without worrying about something's going to happen to you. Monsignor Robert Romano, you can please come up.
A couple of months ago, I did something that I wanted to do a long time. What time is sundown?
Whatever you want.
No, they're hungry. And I don't want to take their time. But I went and I had that Ancestry.com done. And I found out to my amazement that I'm only 73% Italian, but I'm 15% Middle Eastern. And some of my family came from Yemen. And so I want to speak to you in my native language of Yemeni and say to you, buonasera, everybody, tonight. And to say to you all that this is a wonderful opportunity for us all to come together, to share. Father George just popped in, our chaplain, our Greek Orthodox chaplain. So it's wonderful to be here with you. It's wonderful to join with you tonight in this celebration, and I wish you all the best and all of God's blessings. Assalamu alaikum.
Obviously, moving around in the program because the late start because of the weather. But I'm going to call our Imam Latif, to say a few words. And we'll have our fast, breaking the fast after.
Building off of what Rabbi Cass and Monsignor Romano shared, you know, a lot of what Ramadan is about isn't about empty stomachs, but it's about full hearts. Especially on a night like this, when we not just come together in diversity in all of its forms, but we come together also to understand and recognize some of the realities that people live that are quite distinct from our own all over the world. So before we break fast, I would say that we bring ourselves back to a second intention as to why we came here, and to understand not just what this is about in terms of feeding our stomachs or quenching thirst, but thinking about a very important part of ourselves that quite often gets left out and neglected in our day-to-day existence, which is our hearts. Because how we see others is not necessarily indicative of who they are, but how we see others tells us a lot about ourselves. And when we can't look past somebody based off of the color of their skin, when we can't look past whether they're wearing a yarmulke or a kufi, when we can't look past what country of the world they were born into, it's not necessarily just about the other, but it's telling you something about you. Our organs of sensory perception, they're not limited to the eyes that we see with, or the ears that we hear with, or the hands that we touch with, or even the tongues that we taste with. But we have a primary organ that synthesizes all of that which we consume, which is our hearts. Do you get what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. I went to MIT with a couple of my students from New York University to give a lecture a few months ago. There's about 400 or 500 people there, and afterwards a lot of people came up to me and said, that was really charismatic, really inspirational. And then a woman came up to me and she said, my sister's a big fan of yours, can I introduce her to you? And I said, sure. And she walked arm in arm up to where I was standing with her sister, leading her the entire way because her sister was blind, she couldn't see. And after we spoke for a few moments and we're wrapping up the conversation, this blind woman who couldn't see said to me, you know, I thought you'd be a lot taller. I said, what? She said, your voice is not coming from up here, it's coming from down here. I said, oh. And one of my students who was with me, he said, wow, SubhanAllah, isn't that amazing? She's blind and she can tell how short you are. And outside I said, oh yeah, that's so remarkable. But inside I was thinking, man, how short am I? A blind woman just told me I'm short. She didn't need eyes to see. Do you understand? And a lot of times we take the most simplistic perspective because all we're looking at is what we actually see and we don't look at a deeper level. And right now, the world is in a place that unfortunately it's been in for quite some time, but a lot more of us are just becoming awake to realities that we didn't know before. Lieutenant Rana mentioned the unfortunate incident of a van driving into a group of Muslims as they left from a mosque following night prayers in London. May God make things easy for all of those people. And you and I have read the same news of a young 17-year-old girl in Fairfax, Virginia, who around the same time was beaten to death by a baseball bat. Around the same time, going from night prayers to eat at a restaurant with a group of her friends. How do we challenge this bigotry, this hatred? How do we get to a place where it's not just superficial understanding, but a real depth and recognition of diversity that harnesses itself into a much-needed pluralism that helps us to understand that the narratives that we get exposed to sometimes of those that are different from us are way beyond what the actual reality is if we just sat down and literally shared a meal and came together. And so tonight, I would say, as we ponder upon this, I want you to understand that the biggest challenge to people of distinct backgrounds coming together, especially in terms of faith, has nothing to do with different theology or ritual or practice. Because Muslims have a deity the way other religions do. We have a prophet the way other faiths do. We have holidays, we have rituals, we have ceremonies. A lot of it doesn't come down to distinctions in faith. But a lot of it is rooted in other parts of us that are different. One of the hardest gatherings that I stood at in these last few months of what seems like an endless cycle of press conferences, rallies, and other gatherings was at a park in Brooklyn called Adam Yauch Park. It was named after one of the Beastie Boys. There's a lot of senators and congresspeople. There was even another Beastie Boy named Ad Rock. We had gathered there because at a children's playground at Adam Yauch Park, somebody had decided it was okay to graffiti swastikas, the words "Make America White Again," and the words "Trump." When I got on that microphone, I said to those people that that swastika represents to me the darkest potential of humanity. Where there was individuals who were so motivated by their bigotry and hatred that their sole purpose was the entire annihilation and extinction of our Jewish brothers and sisters from this world. But what it also represents to me is another dark potential of humanity. That those people were only able to perpetrate that genocidal violence because there were so many others who had the means to keep them from doing it, but they just sat back and did nothing. So as you break fast on this night, or you come to break fast, my prayer for all of us is that we become bold enough to turn to the divine, to ask Him to make us the reason people have hope in this world and not the reason people dread it. To build a much-needed love that transcends socially constructed difference. It doesn't see us in the boxes that society puts us in order to leverage and gain for those who have no interest other than their own self-interest. We start to understand that those are real people who have families, children, and loved ones who just long to see their loved ones at home again. That on Father's Day, there was a father who had to deal with the reality of figuring out burial arrangements for his 17-year-old daughter. We might not be the ones who engage in the hate. If we have the means to do something and we don't, then I would say, my brothers and sisters, we don't understand what real love is. We're arguably just as bad as the ones who are doing what is wrong in the first place. Come together with people of distinct backgrounds so you learn from them by being with them. Tonight, the second component that we have is we have a minute before we break fast. Is we've come together to try to raise money for the children of Yemen, where severe famine and drought has led to millions of people being without basic necessities that at times some of us don't realize how blessed we are to have access to them. We're not talking about air-conditioned homes or luxury cars or anything like that, but people simply don't have water to drink. And I would tell you, as somebody who's been in conflict zones, who's visited refugee camps, who's been with people who just live without any infrastructure, one of the hardest things I've ever seen is when a mother said to me that, can you please just take my daughter with you when you go back to America where you come from? Because if she stays with me, I don't know if I'm going to have the food to feed her. I don't know if I'll have the medicine to just give her life for a few more days. As we come to break bread together, and we relish in the brotherhood and sisterhood that brings diversity together. At this moment, as you break your fast, which is a time in the Islamic tradition that is said that prayers are more readily accepted, don't forget the people all over the world who, whether the sun is up or down, they have nothing to eat. The ones who walk miles and miles to just find something to drink, and what they drink is more damaging to their body because of how polluted it is, and had they not drank anything in the first place. When our brothers and sisters come up from Islamic Relief to ask of us to support those who are in need, make sure you don't leave from here tonight without getting done everything that it is that we have the ability to get done. May God Almighty guide us and protect us. May He bless us with knowledge that benefits us. May He bless us with the tawfiq to understand and implement that knowledge into our daily lives. May He guide and bless us all. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam wa billahi tawfiq. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
The system. So before, I got a lot of things to say, but I'm going to keep it small and low because, we're already running late. But the main thing I want to throw out there is that be there for each other, be there for your community, be a role model for your next generation. You are the ambassador. You are the ambassador from Islam. Show individuals what true Islam really is. Don't let them be blindsided by what they see or hear in the media. Show them what our true religion really teaches and how we are here to work with every single person. So thank you again for coming here, and hopefully you have a good Iftar. Yeah, I was just about to walk off, but please help me welcome our Chief Chaplain, Rabbi Al Cass, who's been with us, who's been with us every year, supporting our society, being there with us in our program, and being there as support, for all of us. So thank you, Dr. Al Cass.
Thank you so very much. The President began the program by saying to all of you, Salam Alaikum. I would say the same thing, except that I changed the vowels around a little bit. I say Shalom Aleichem. But basically it's the same thing. It's the same Semitic origins. We're brothers, and we're cousins. And that happens to be the truth. According to the news, which was just spoken about, the President is sending his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to the Middle East to try to solve a lot of the problems that are going on there. But I have a different idea. I think that the President sent me and Monsignor Romano and of two of you, we'd have a better chance of solving the problems out there. Because I can tell you that diversity, of course, is a very key word in the police department. And one of the great things about this department is that you get to meet people of every race, religion, color, and creed. But some human beings look upon diversity as a duty. But I can tell you that for me, there's a real joy in diversity, particularly in coming here. I have made so many wonderful friends in the Muslim community that I really feel that when I make my presence here at this Iftar, it's an act of real love, because it's an opportunity for me to express my affection for a lot of very beautiful people that I've gotten to know over the years. In the same way, I have to tell you that when the Shamram Society, the organization of Jewish police officers, has its annual dinner, I get very happy when I see that table of Muslim officers, because when I see them eating and singing and dancing and having a good time with us, just as I have a good time with you, it makes me feel we're really doing something right. And I know we're doing something right, because we're creating such a beautiful, wonderful spirit. And New York City, with all the problems that are going on elsewhere, and while we're not immune to problems, it is indeed the safest, most secure, and most wonderful place anybody of any religion can be. And all of us feel a tremendous sense of security at being able to be part of the city and part of this police force.
The Muslims Office Society over here in NYPD is because we all share a common goal: serving humanity. Islamic Relief, alhamdulillah, has been serving humanity for the last 25 years here in the United States and about 35 years across the world, because of your help and your support. Inshallah ta'ala, I would like to ask each and every one of you to give your undivided attention. We're going to share with you a video in the next few minutes of the work that Islamic Relief USA is doing. A lot of you know about the work that we're doing, but a lot more people need to know, because this is what we're all here for tonight. As we all broke our fast, we all had the opportunity to break our fast. There's people across the globe right now that are still currently fasting, and they haven't been able to break their fast due to their current situation in their climates. So inshallah, I would like to ask everybody to remain silent so we can share with you the video presentation, and you guys can enjoy it, and then we'll resume after that, inshallah ta'ala. So we can ask everybody just to hold off to their service, and we can share this video, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you. In the month of Ramadan, to not just take, but to also give. Can we ask everybody once again in the back, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we really need everybody's attention. We really need everybody's attention if we may. Because this is a very important segment. It's not for me. It's for the children in need that are suffering right now, that we can't hear them because of the media, like these beautiful cameras are sitting in front of us, able to put that focal and that focus on them. The media doesn't go to areas where the people are just any ordinary people. Unfortunately, the area in Yemen is a catastrophe. 2 million kids right now in Yemen are at the brink of dying. 2 million of our children. We don't want to be questioned on the day of judgment and whatnot, and to be facing our Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ask, when we're asked, why did we not look after them when they were hungry? We all have a social responsibility, irrespective of our financial situation. And our situation is much, much better than their situation. The physicians, the police officers, the people servicing the communities are all standing in line for a handout in Yemen right now. Because they don't know how to break their fast. Because they don't have the means to do so. Wouldn't it break your heart if you saw our brothers and sisters that serve us, that save humanity here, standing in line in a homeless line, that would break your heart, wouldn't it? Imagine their situation. The doctors, the physicians, the ones that are supposed to be providing aid are not able to do so because they're hungry and they can't even break their fast. Their situation is extremely bad. Unfortunately, National Geographic is not out there. BBC News is not out there. CNN is not doing a headline feature right now. But the situation in Africa, East Africa right now, the Horn of Africa, also has 20 million people right now at the brink of dying during this famine. I visited Somalia, Kenya, Ethiopia in the last many years, and we delivered your aid on your behalf, and we assisted with tens of billions of dollars because you believed in the cause. And when we all forgot about them 5-6 years ago during the famine, we didn't forget about them. Because I went to Dadaab last year, Kenya, the largest refugee complex in the world. 350,000 people that live in the Dadaab camp right now. Just to deliver aid, I needed 2 armed vehicles that were bulletproof. And we had a car in front of us and a car behind us, all with AK-47s to protect us so we could provide the aid in this war-torn area. That's how bad the situation is. And if you don't save them, if we don't save them by giving them food so they can focus on the bigger picture and taking care of their social responsibility and putting them back in school because they're much better off, they will join these crazy groups. This is the reality, guys. There's nothing to hide about it. And it's scary because I saw it. I saw it with my eyes. And I met with the mothers and the families that got their children torn apart because they went elsewhere because they didn't have the aid that they needed. What were we doing? Breaking our fast and lavish? Forgetting about them? After Ramadan goes, the 30-day period, the temporary period, we go back to our daily lives like nothing has ever happened. What are we doing with ourselves? The month of Ramadan is the training time to get us closer to our Creator, the one that provided us what's on these tables here today. And took care of our breath that we have every second of the day. Tonight, I'm requesting each and every one of you, all of us, we all have a social responsibility because Ramadan is almost over. And those young, as Imam Khalid mentioned earlier, that young girl that died 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago, in Virginia, Nabra, was a volunteer of Islamic Relief. And so was our winners, Dia, Yusra, and Razan, that got killed in North Carolina many years ago. They were volunteers of the social service work that we're doing now. We don't know when our time is. That's the only thing guaranteed in this life, death. So you have to do your part in this life. Because when you leave, game over. It's over. So if you don't invest in this dunya, in this worldly life, you will have a very tough time later on. I'm requesting each and every one of you, and I know, mashallah, praise to God, that we all have some type of income coming in. And even if your situation is bad, remember their situation is much worse. They don't even have clean water to break their fast with, or even take a shower, or bathe themselves, or cook with, or to use the latrines, the bathrooms. This is what water does. We're providing water and relief, and food and relief, health and nutrition, water and sanitation. Over 20,000 orphans are being looked after right now all across the world because of your generous contribution. It's all zakat eligible. Zakat is charity that we're all obligated to give anyway, just like the Jewish faith and the Christian faith and the Catholicism. We all give because we're faith-based. That's what our faith teaches us. Tonight, I'm requesting each and every one of you to participate, irrespective of your situation. And I'm hoping you choose tonight as the night that you're going to make a difference. Because literally, we only have a few more days left of the month of Ramadan, which the rewards are multiplied 10 to 7 to 700 times the reward. And if you want these nights to go past, shame on you. We'll be the losers. And tonight might be one of the odd nights that Allah says in the Quran, and Laylat al-Qadr, the night of power, is worth more than the reward of 1,000 months. That most of us in our lifetime will never achieve just on one night. 83 plus years on one night. Tonight might be that night. It's an odd night of Ramadan, the last 10 nights. Use tonight as your opportunity to get closer to these brothers and sisters that are waiting for your help. Ramadan. As we just mentioned in this video, and the work that Islamic Relief does across the globe in the 42 countries, and the 6 to 7 million people that we're hosting and we're looking after because of your donations. 6 to 7 million people across the globe being looked after because of your contributions. This wasn't done by 1 or 2 people. This was done by an army of people, over 70,000 donors that believe in this cause across the United States. Alhamdulillah. Last year we assisted, we collected $63 million in cash donations in the US. That's why we're able to assist 6 to 7 million people in the 42 countries worldwide. You should be proud of yourselves. You guys helped make that difference. And we're very thankful and honored to be sponsoring tonight's program, as we did a couple weeks ago with the Mayor's Iftar that we hosted in New York City. And it's just good to see the good work happening on all different levels. NYPD serves on a frontline capacity, on the line of duty. Islamic Relief also serves on the line of duty in the international relief work. I myself, along with my colleagues here with me, Majid and Arif and the rest of the group here, we serve as international first responders, serving those in need on your behalf. Yes, all of us would want to get up and go run across the seas and help out in whatever capacity from a humanitarian standpoint, but we just can't do that. We just can't do that. There's not enough time. We can't take off all that time, so your donations on your behalf are going to help those people in need right now across the globe. Last year alone, I just want to share with you our domestic work that we do here in the United States. Last year we helped hundreds of thousands of people here in the United States, across the country, in New York and whatnot, major cities, and we assisted with over $3.2 million in aid here in the grants, food packages, feeding programs, homeless services, refugee programs, and you name it. And the list continues. Tonight, we're going to take your contributions and your donations to our brothers and sisters in Yemen right now,